Scandal after scandal. Now, $1.7 million. Juanita Bynum's ministry math. Ain't mathing. In recent weeks, Juanita Bynum, a prominent figure in the religious community, has found herself at the center of another controversy. Reports have surfaced questioning how $1.7 million in ministry funds have been managed, sparking debates among followers, critics, and the general public. This latest issue comes on the heels of previous controversies, giving the impression that the ministry is once again under intense scrutiny. Supporters of Bynum are eager to defend her, while critics argue that accountability and transparency are crucial, especially when large sums of money are involved. The story raises important questions about how ministry finances are handled, the responsibility leaders have to their supporters, and how public trust can be affected when financial discrepancies emerge. As this financial matter unfolds, many are watching closely to see how Bynum responds and whether the situation will be resolved internally or draw further public attention. To understand the significance of the $1.7 million controversy, it's important to know a bit about Juanita Bynum and her ministry. She has long been recognized as a powerful and influential voice in the religious community, drawing large audiences to her sermons, conferences, and media appearances. Over the years, her ministry has expanded to include book sales, speaking engagements, online programs, and various charitable initiatives, which together generate significant revenue. Bynum has built a reputation for inspiring messages and guidance that resonate with followers across the country, creating a devoted and supportive audience. However, her ministry has not been without scrutiny. In the past, there have been smaller controversies and public debates surrounding financial transparency and leadership decisions, which have led to questions about how donations and funds are allocated. These previous concerns, while not legally conclusive, have contributed to a climate in which new reports about financial discrepancies immediately attract attention and speculation. This background sets the stage for the current $1.7 million issue, highlighting why followers, critics, and the media are paying close attention to the way funds are managed and accounted for within her organization. By understanding both her influence and the past controversies, viewers can better appreciate why this latest story has become such a focal point in discussions about accountability and leadership in ministry settings. The current controversy centers around an alleged $1.7 million discrepancy in Juanita Bynum's ministry finances. Reports suggest that donations, event revenues, and other sources of income over a certain period do not appear to align with documented expenses, leaving questions about how the money was spent. According to insiders familiar with the situation, the discrepancy includes funds that were intended for ministry programs, charitable initiatives, and community outreach projects, which makes the issue particularly sensitive for donors and supporters who expect transparency. The situation has prompted concern among followers and stakeholders, as many have contributed generously to support the ministry's work, trusting that their donations would be used responsibly. Itemized records reportedly show inconsistencies between what was raised during large events and the accounting of related expenses, which has led to public speculation and media attention. While no criminal wrongdoing has been alleged, the financial gap raises questions about accounting practices, internal oversight, and the clarity of financial reporting. Additionally, critics argue that such a large sum of unaccounted money can damage public trust, especially for leaders whose credibility is built on moral authority and integrity. Supporters, however, maintain that Bynum's ministry has a history of charitable work and community service, and they believe the funds were likely allocated to legitimate but complex projects that may not have been fully visible in public records. The $1.7 million figure has become the focal point of discussion, illustrating the high stakes of financial management within ministries and the importance of transparency to maintain the confidence of both donors and followers. While critics focus on the $1.7 million discrepancy, Juanita Bynum has offered her perspective, emphasizing that all ministry funds have been used appropriately. According to sources close to her, Bynum maintains that the reported financial inconsistencies are largely due to accounting methods and complex ministry operations, rather than mismanagement. She explains that large ministries often operate with multiple streams of income and numerous projects running simultaneously, which can make tracking every dollar in a way that is immediately understandable to the public challenging. Bynum reportedly stresses that her commitment to the ministry and its mission remains unwavering. She claims that donations and revenues were directed toward programs such as community outreach, charitable initiatives, conference operations, and media production, efforts that may not always appear clearly in public financial summaries. She emphasizes that transparency is important to her, and she has expressed willingness to cooperate with any internal or external audits to clarify the situation. From her perspective, the controversy reflects not negligence, but the challenges of managing a large-scale ministry in a highly scrutinized environment. She believes that misunderstandings about complex budgets and the allocation of funds can quickly lead to public concern, even when all expenditures are legitimate. By highlighting her dedication to the ministry and its work, Bynum seeks to reassure followers and donors that their contributions are being used responsibly and that the focus remains on the mission rather than the controversy itself. While critics and media outlets have focused heavily on the alleged $1.7 million discrepancy, Juanita Bynum has maintained that her ministry's finances have always been directed toward legitimate and purposeful initiatives. According to insiders close to her, Bynum explains that large ministries often operate with multiple streams of income, ranging from donations, speaking engagements, book sales, event ticketing, and media programs, which can create complex accounting structures. She insists that when viewed in their entirety, all funds have been allocated in line with the ministry's mission, even if individual entries or timelines appear inconsistent on paper. Bynum reportedly emphasizes that many expenditures that critics highlight may not be immediately visible because they involve charitable projects, community outreach programs, or long-term ministry initiatives. For instance, funds might have been earmarked for developing educational resources, supporting local communities, or covering operational costs for outreach programs that span months or even years. These expenditures, while legitimate, may not be reflected in conventional financial summaries, which can lead to misunderstandings or the appearance of mismanagement. Additionally, Bynum has expressed frustration with how the controversy has been portrayed in public forums and on social media. She stresses that while she welcomes transparency and accountability, much of the criticism fails to consider the scale and complexity of managing a high-profile ministry with multiple initiatives running simultaneously. She reportedly feels that the public often assumes the worst without fully understanding the operational demands of such an organization. Juanita also reassures her supporters that she takes their trust seriously. She has indicated a willingness to cooperate with audits or reviews to clarify any perceived inconsistencies, showing her commitment to financial integrity. Her perspective, as presented by her team, is that the controversy is less about negligence and more about perception, highlighting the challenges that large ministries face in balancing transparency with complex financial operations. By addressing the situation openly, she aims to maintain confidence among donors and followers, while continuing to focus on the ministry's core mission of service, inspiration, and community support. Once news of the $1.7 million discrepancy in Juanita Bynum's ministry finances surfaced, the story quickly gained traction across social media platforms and online forums. Fans, critics, and the general public began sharing their opinions, creating a mix of support and skepticism. Many followers defended Bynum, highlighting her long-standing dedication to ministry work, charitable initiatives, and community outreach. They argued that her leadership has positively impacted countless lives, and that complex financial operations can sometimes appear unclear without implying wrongdoing. Supporters encouraged the public to withhold judgment until more details were clarified, emphasizing trust in her long-standing reputation and mission. On the other hand, critics voiced concern over transparency and accountability, questioning how such a significant amount of money could appear unaccounted for. Some suggested that donations and revenues should be fully itemized and reported to reassure contributors, especially when public donations are involved. Social media posts, hashtags, and online discussions quickly emerged, with users debating the credibility of Bynum's explanations, the role of financial oversight in ministries, and the responsibilities of public religious figures handling large sums of money. Entertainment and news outlets also picked up the story, analyzing reports and highlighting the divide between supporters and skeptics. Some commentary focused on the broader pattern of scrutiny that high-profile ministries face, while others speculated on potential consequences for donor confidence and public perception. Overall, the reaction demonstrates how quickly financial controversies in public ministries can ignite debates, showing the powerful role social media plays in shaping narratives, influencing public opinion, and amplifying both criticism and defense in high-profile situations. Beyond the headlines and social media discussions, the $1.7 million controversy has had a tangible impact on Juanita Bynum's ministry and its followers. Internally, staff and volunteers have reportedly felt added pressure as questions about financial accountability circulate publicly. For many, this has created uncertainty about the ministry's operations, funding priorities, and how day-to-day activities are managed. Staff members, who are often deeply committed to the organization's mission, may find themselves in difficult positions, having to reassure supporters while navigating increased scrutiny from donors and the media. For the ministry's followers, the controversy has been a test of trust. Some donors reportedly paused contributions, wanting more clarity on how funds are allocated and ensuring their support is going toward programs they value. Others, however, remain loyal, citing Bynum's longstanding commitment to spiritual guidance and charitable work. For these supporters, the controversy has reinforced the importance of understanding the complexity of ministry finances rather than reacting to surface-level reports. The emotional weight of the situation also extends to the broader ministry community. Leaders and volunteers are often viewed as public figures whose actions directly reflect on the organization, and financial controversies can affect morale, motivation, and engagement. Despite these challenges, insiders suggest that Bynum continues to emphasize the core mission of her ministry, providing guidance, support, and outreach to communities in need, hoping that transparency and open communication will stabilize confidence among staff and followers alike. This situation highlights the delicate balance between public accountability, donor trust, and maintaining the focus on the mission that drives a ministry forward. As the $1.7 million controversy unfolds, several realistic outcomes could shape the future of Juanita Bynum's ministry. One likely step is an internal financial audit, which could be conducted by independent accountants to review all donations, expenditures, and operational costs. Such an audit would help clarify where funds were allocated, address any discrepancies, and provide transparency to donors and followers. A clear, publicly shared report could go a long way in restoring confidence and reaffirming the integrity of the ministry. Another possible path is increased financial oversight and accountability measures. This could include implementing stricter reporting systems, formalizing budgets for specific programs, and creating boards or committees to monitor major expenditures. These steps would not only reassure supporters, but also prevent future confusion or misinterpretation regarding the ministry's finances. Public relations efforts may also play a significant role. Juanita Bynum could issue formal statements, host open discussions with donors, or release detailed explanations of her ministry's financial structure to demonstrate transparency. Such actions can help maintain trust, mitigate skepticism, and reinforce the focus on the ministry's mission rather than the controversy. Ultimately, the outcome will depend on a combination of clear financial reporting, effective communication, and the ability of the ministry to show that all resources are being used responsibly. While the situation has brought scrutiny, it also presents an opportunity for the organization to strengthen its internal systems, reassure supporters, and reaffirm its commitment to both accountability and service to the community. In summary, the $1.7 million controversy surrounding Juanita Bynum's ministry has sparked a mix of concern, curiosity, and debate among followers, critics, and the public at large. While questions about financial transparency and accountability have drawn attention, Bynum's perspective emphasizes that complex ministry operations and charitable initiatives may not always be immediately clear in public records. The situation highlights the challenges leaders face when managing large sums of money in highly visible organizations and the importance of balancing transparency with operational complexity. As this story continues to develop, it serves as a reminder of the critical role accountability plays in public ministries and the trust placed in leaders by their communities. Supporters, critics, and observers alike are watching closely, eager to see how the situation unfolds and how Bynum will address concerns while continuing her work.